Alright, so I'm just back from Hamzah Sheeraz, Liam Williams. Hamzah Sheeraz knocking out Liam Williams in a round. You know, this fight was originally scheduled for December, got pushed back, and when the fight was announced, I thought, okay, Sheeraz looks good, but Liam Williams is useful. He against Eubank showed signs that the punch resistance was going a bit, but he also won more than his fair share of rounds in that fight. So I kind of thought, okay, he's been in there with Demetrius Andre, he's been in there with Eubank, and yes, he lost those fights respectively, but he did give a good account of himself in both of them, particularly the Demetrius Andre fight where he came back into that after having a horrible start. And I thought, okay, on paper, I'm still going to favour Sheeraz, but this is going to be at least competitive. Then I got to the press conference on Thursday. You don't need to be a brain surgeon or, an expert neurologist to look at a fighter and know something's not right. So at the press conference, Liam Williams consistently was just doing this, like really heavy blinking. And when I see that, I was like, ooh, that's not a good sign. So I was thinking, okay, that punch resistance, probably everything, is probably going to be shot to pieces. So this fight probably ain't even going to go 5 rounds. And I think I was saying something similar in my midweek report. I was saying I don't think this fight's going to last particularly long. I didn't expect it to go a round. Thought it'd go a bit longer than that. But it was still, for me, when they look, aesthetically, Liam Williams looked in very good shape. I was close enough to see him. He looked really good, looked in really good shape. The first jab he gets hit with, legs are gone. Legs are buckling. Everything was hurting him. The jabs were hurting him. I mean, it was a jab, I think, that dropped him twice. And the first knockdown was definitely a jab. And everyone at ringside were just like, what? Everyone was kind of like, what? That put him down? Yeah. And he was hurt several times after that. And Hamzah Sheeraz is a very, very good finisher. He's a very big puncher, clinical. And he was able to go in there and take Liam Smith out in a round. Prior to this, yes, Smith had been down in fights, but he'd always seen the final bell, with the exception of the first Liam Smith fight, a fight in which he was actually winning. And then he got it was a really bad cut. Now after it was a really, really bad gash, they stopped the fight. But that was a TKO down to cuts, not him being concussively out of it or anything like that. This one, on the other hand, the corner knew, because they jumped up on that ring apron pretty damn quick with that towel. I think that they knew we have a puncher's chance, and I guess for them, they probably looked at Hamzah Sheeraz and thought, stylistically, more so from dimensions, he's not too dissimilar from Atlantis Fox, who was a fighter who went the distance, went 12 rounds, I think, with Demetrius Andre, and Liam Williams went in there, probably his career best performance, truth be told. I forget what card that was on, but he went in there and he absolutely obliterated him in, I think it was 5 rounds. I mean, he looked $1 million in that fight. And I guess they were thinking, okay, if it's similar dimensions, we might not have the same fighter in terms of his durability, but if he can, and I'm sorry if you can hear the fan in the background, by the way, but if we can at least, be able to put it on Hamzah Sheeraz the way he was able to do it to Atlantis Fox, and if he can capitulate, we could be in with it. It was apparent after the first few shots landed that this was just, it wasn't going to happen. It was not going to happen. And it didn't happen. And look, it's not for me to say what a fighter should do next. At the end of the day, I can only give my opinion. Liam Williams is a grown man. He can make his own decisions. But I would be saying, seriously, call it a day. And that's a worry. When I see a fighter blinking really heavy like that, and he was doing it in the ring as well, I'm thinking, is up there okay? Leave while up there is still okay. You've made a lot of money. You've headlined pay-per-views on Sky. Call it a day, mate. Call it a day. That's what I got to say on that. In terms of the card itself, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have an interview with Dev Sani, which I'm going to upload probably immediately after I upload this. It really couldn't have gone any better. And to be honest with you, look, Frank, I give the devil his due. Frank can put on some good shows, and I really enjoyed this show. There was a lot of knockouts, as you know. I like knockouts from early on, and yeah, for me it was really enjoyable. Anthony Yard against Joshua Buatsi. Let's see what happens there. He looked okay in this fight, but again, he was in there with a guy. Yeah, he came to win, but he wasn't stellar, to say the least. Sam Noakes looks very good. You know, I really did think that him and Lewis Sylvester would be a more competitive fight than it was. Sam Noakes is talented. He is very big for the weight, massive for the weight, but very talented. Tommy Fletcher looking good, smashed the guy's nose up to bits. I did have to question the doctor stopping it, you know, because I was like, I've seen in amateur fights worse bloody noses than that, and the referee has been like, just don't even, just go. I've seen amateur fights where they've had way more blood running down, and the referee's just been like, yeah, good, just do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. So I do have to question that doctor who jumped in and decided, yeah, stop the fight. That probably could have kept going a little bit longer. I suppose Johnny Fletcher, or Tommy, I was calling him Johnny, think of Johnny Fisher. Tommy Fletcher would have inevitably got rid of him anyway. So there was that. I had a choice, go Matchroom or go Queensbury. I chose Queensbury. I'm glad I did. I enjoyed it. I have to catch up on the Matchroom card that was happening over in the Indigo and the O2. But I really enjoyed tonight's card. I really enjoyed it. And, you know, I have to give a special shout out because there was a security guard there who, big fan of the channel, told me and Ade are his two favourites. And I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to him on the way out, but I know he'll be watching. Absolutely, thank you for all the help. He actually stood between me and Dev Sani, so stands around that wouldn't get bumped into. Honestly, an absolute gent. Hopefully, I'll be at more events. I can bump into you again. Absolutely, tip my hat off to you. Thank you so much, my friend. Everyone else who watched the video, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are on the fight. Let me know what your thoughts on Hamzah Sheeraz next move will be. And for now, I'll leave it there. Peace. You know, boxing today, it seems like there's news breaking every single day. There's fights being announced almost every day. Big fights at that. Boxing's in a good place. And sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I find it a little bit difficult at times just to stay on top of everything, between checking Twitter, checking boxing scene, going on BoxRec to see if there's anything announced. There's a lot to look for. There's a lot of platforms you need to go on. And if you look down on screen, you'll see today's sponsors, Boxing Showtimes. They've made an app that does it all for you. Look at that on screen. It shows you where you can get tickets. It gives you all the latest news. It gives you the tail of the tape. It gives you all the card details. It's going to give you details about Fury Usyk. It's going to give you details about Joshua Ngannou. It's also going to have a lot more little things thrown in there as well. The link is in the comment section. It's going to be pinned on this video and more besides soon enough. And not only that, in the comment section, there's also going to be a link, a G-Man promo, which means you can access a little bit more without ads. Now that, to quote Eddie Hearn, is a game changer. Now let's crack on with the video.